What up? What up?
Yeah, I think that is literally the first time I've ever done a request to be in somebody's live video.
Yo, we set in fucking new shit in this fucking 2021. We changing the game right now. You
Yeah,
know,
it's cool.
first time, fucking. And you were saying this is the first time. Like I know how it feels. Me being like an interviewer, and like I've been on the other side a couple times. But like you were saying, like this is your first time being on the other side.
Literally, yeah. I mean, I did a print interview one time back in the day, but I don't think it's the same thing. Like a phone call, whatever. This is from like the live point of view. Nah, it's the complete first time. If this is the first time since I started YouTube in 2016 that anybody's really brought me on their shit with video. Somebody brought me on with audio, but with video, first time in history.
Dope, dope. We're setting the bar high. You know, like your first one is EDGTV.
Hmm. Yo,
You
shout
know,
out Eddie GTV. I don't know. I'm sure all y'all people know, but anybody on my side watching, Eddie GTV is a hustler, my guy. This guy's fucking setting up shit, grinding it out, doing all the things you're supposed to do to make a brand and grow. So shout out Eddie GTV. Gotta give you your flowers for all the hard work you do. But you put on all these different people. But you show love consistently, my guy. That's big respect.
so definitely, definitely, and I definitely I look around and I see who else is grinding. I'm like, I want to talk. I want to talk with them. You know, I want to have a conversation with them. Who else is grinding out here? And I come across you, and you're definitely grinding. And
That's true.
I appreciate your grind as well.
Yeah, definitely. I thank you for that.
Yeah, I think I seen your name around, but then like I think the first thing I seen like of you was during the Breaking Records contest.
Mm.
Your entry, and I liked it. I thought it was dope.
Which one? Which
The Breaking Records
I did
contest.
two entries for them. I did one where I like doubled down on alliteration, and then one where I dressed as like Santa or something.
I think it was the first one. I
Fair.
don't think you did
Cool.
it.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, man, for sure, for sure. And then so what came first? Rapping or interviewing?
Absolutely rapping. That goes all the way back to 2012. Well, probably earlier. You know, like the typical shits, like high school obsessions. I'm like 12 when Eminem pops, right? Like
Okay,
that
okay.
was kind of significant. I'm pretty sure most people in my age group went through a very similar trajectory of memorizing the first three Eminem albums. And
Like to put it in perspective, probably that age is when for me DMX.
oh, DMX is huge, my guy.
Like
Yo,
so
straight up.
like you were saying like that time for you like Eminem was coming out, like for me around that time DMX was coming out. So
Yeah, I mean it's a very similar time because I have memories of memorizing DMX songs next to Eminem songs,
yeah.
and yeah, no, that's cool. So back then I got into it, but like I didn't know shit all about the culture or anything. Then I dibbled and dabbled for a while until about 25. My dude was like, "Do you really want to start rapping when you're 30?" And I was like a heavy set of words to a mid 20s person to hear, like, yo, actually, that's a real thing to consider. So we just started with it. And then we started writing some shits. Um, we just basically, I don't know. I accidentally got everything, man. I just found people, cheap ass beats, $20 here. Didn't know a damn thing about a damn thing. Recorded shit wherever I could. Like call center guy was like, "Yo, I got a studio thing." So we brought out to wherever the fuck it was. It all sounded like ass. It was no good quality, but it got me booked somewhere. Because I had some shit out. I ended up with like 4 or 5 really bad songs on the internet, right? And
Yeah.
this is 2012. So I guess it's harder to do it in 2012. Not act like it's fucking hard. Yo, shout out. I think it's Ismail. That's fucking cool in the chat. I always love the chat when I have people to shout out there. That guy's a fucking ride or die for real.
For sure the chat.
Um, yeah, and then like 2012 comes around, and then my dude James is like links me up with this next guy who had seen my shit, and then Next thing you know, I'm asked to come open like the first act at this comedy hip hop show, Punchlines 2 or something. So there's like five comedy people and five hip hop people at the CFC in Montreal, which no longer exists, unfortunately. But it's like this crazy bar with like this dungeon like fucking castle feel with a curved ceiling and shit. It was fucking banging, but it was like packed. It was like 80 people packed. So 80 people was packed at this place.
That's on a side note. On a side note, like that's always a shitty thing when I've seen like certain places that have like a lot of history at like torn down, and I'm like, oh man, I have so much history there. Like I wish that
Mm.
venue was still there. You know, like
Yeah, that's the thing I'm least excited about post-COVID is there's a lot of places I performed at
sure.
that don't exist no more. And I don't know what it's gonna really look like after, but they might open in the same locations with new names, but there's a lot of history that just disappeared that I don't think a lot of people are maybe thinking about. Maybe some people are, but I started thinking about
Yeah,
that recently.
no, that's
Um, yeah, anyway, so I do this show and it went well. There's video proof of how well it went. Like these people sang my hook for my third song. I had never heard it because nobody heard it. It was the first time I blew my mind. Like I
that's
don't think
awesome.
I ever had a performance on my own music since that was that good, to be honest with you. But that was one hell of a first time. So it basically said, yo, I could do this. And then I went outside, nearly puked, and it was fucking terrible. And the rest of the show was like a basket case and shit. But it was cool. Like there's a live painter. I'll never forget it. Sharon Epic. If anyone in Montreal knows Sharon Epic, they're fucking blessed. I tried to Google her lately. I couldn't find shit. So I don't know what happened to her. But yeah, she would do these live painting things and like auction them off at the end. And it was just wonderful to like know that in one moment I got painted there like that, you know?
That's,
And then life moved on in a random assortment of shits. And the YouTube stuff doesn't even start to like 2016 and a frustration with like getting old and not going anywhere with music and accepting that like okay maybe like turning 30 does have consequences and I need to pivot my strategies in life because I have a job and I can't go to bars on Friday nights or Thursday nights at 11 and still like actually make money, which is what's paying for the rest of the music. So I couldn't perform anymore anywhere really that I felt was like worth the ROI. So I stopped doing it and got like this internet clout game going, and yeah. I don't really know how much deep you want me to go. I've never done this
yeah,
shit in an hour, so
no,
I'm sitting there
no,
going, "How fuck did this guy
right
do
there.
this shit in an
I'm
hour?"
taking it all in. I'm taking it all in. I'm like, I'm hearing your story, and I'm glad. You know, like all of us, like I was saying, like you're saying, like the rapping at 30. I feel like some of the best rappers are like 30 and 40 right now, but like
Mm,
they've been rapping since they were teenagers. You know, like
that's fair.
some of the people I listen to now, I'm like that are in their 30s and 40s are rapping phenomenally. You know,
But yo, I started talking to kids and with the interview thing, and I got to give a lot of props to the youth. So the youth has some advantages on us. A lot of them started at 12, right?
yeah,
Like in a way, so by the time they're like 22, 23, they're already got like a decade on both marketing because they're doing the Instas since they're
yeah,
like 12.
sure.
And I got a decade on like A/B testing sounds to develop core audiences and fan bases and leveraging. Like, yo, I'm watching this 17-year-old and he's sitting there dropping literally professional level marketing game on our fucking chat. And I'm like, hold the fuck up. I gotta write this shit down because I don't think I'm young enough and agile enough to be as fucking incredible as you are. And then you listen to their music, and we can argue content for fucking days, but on a technical proficiency level, these kids are in the pocket. They dropping melodies that are crazy. They understand a lot of shit. So maybe when they're like 30, holy fuck, what? How good are they gonna be? You know, like that's what I'm looking at.
Exactly. Like me, like I started when I was 15, but I didn't have the internet. Like, the internet
Mm.
wasn't what it is now. Like back then, like you buy a CD, and like there would be like a website for the band on the back, and then you go to it, it play like one
Yeah,
song and have a couple pictures. You know,
that's it,
that's
man.
it. That's it for like how the internet was. So like me growing up, I actually felt like I had a good marketing like for when I was a kid. Um, for putting my shit out like prior to the internet. Like I used to like when the internet shit first started, I'd burn CDs for people that would have
Okay.
like a Biggie song, then a Jay-Z song, then one of my songs, and then it would be like a Rough Rider song, like a Snoop song, and then one of my songs. You know,
Yo, that's actually fucking fire. Hold up, Eddie GTV, dropping some fuego moves. You had the mixtape Spotify playlist strategy on lock prior to fucking the internet, is what I just heard.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
dope, man.
well, like obviously the internet was like I could download these things, but it was like LimeWire, Napster, like that kind of shit.
Nah, but you still tapped into the mixtape game proper. I respect everything you just said as a hustler, my guy. That's proper.
For sure, for sure. And but like I feel like if I would have came out like when the internet what it is, I could have learned it more and kind of like because like when you're younger, like your brain like takes in knowledge like so much more like um crazier, like you know.
You know what it is? It's that ego is different. So a 17-year-old is a lot more willing to take the advice of their fan base than a person in their 30s.
For
So
sure.
I had this problem in my heart and soul as an artist where people go, maybe I don't want to listen to that. And I go, fuck you. And I make the song anyway. And then after the fact, I think about it and I'm like, what was the point? You know, but maybe that's like where I'm at now. But I've had a lot of moments where I had to reconsider it and go, was that really a smart choice for my career rather than like actually listening to what people care about? So these kids, when they tell you about the creative choices they make, they're almost entire. And I've talked to about five of them now, so it's not like an insane amount, but all five of them seem to really care about what their fans thought, and they would test everything with their fans. They would tease everything with their fans, and it was really interesting to me. And I feel like there's a lot we can learn about agility because the world is so saturated now. Back in the day, you needed talent because there were gatekeepers that made it impossible for like most of us to ever have a chance to make music. Those gatekeepers are mostly blowing out the water and the kids are taking advantage of it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Is some of the content going to be different? Sure, but I'd still cop that Griselda, so it's not like I'm lacking dope shit to buy. And that's why it's like super beautiful. So I feel like you're going to just see prodigies of all age groups start appearing as different people start taking music in different directions and a lot more freedom with this like as a service economy that is really driving it. Like you, the second you tap into a subscription model in some way for the Eddie GTV brand, which is Twitch, you're gonna find that your revenue streams go fucking nuts because that's what the world is. And the thing is Eddie GTV has fans. You know how I know? You got net promoters rocking your merch in a way where I don't think I see a single MC that I know that has the level of people fucking with them that Eddie GTV has right now.
Oh, I definitely appreciate that. And one thing I want to come back on is so like for me like yeah like I did the same thing, started off with music and then got into interviews. But I feel now like the times I do work on music now, I feel it's so much more comfortable because I have my Eddie TV brand, I have my interview brand. So like
Mm-hmm.
if I make music and it doesn't do well, it doesn't do well. I still like the song. You know, like
I
you're
feel
saying, like,
you.
oh, should I make this song like this way? Like, was that the best career move? Like now, like I feel like I don't know if you feel the same way after doing after your internet after the interviews start doing well. You can kind of have this freedom with music. Do you
So
feel that
I
same way?
feel like what happened was more I got into the interviews and I started having a lot of conversations with a lot of people who did well, but also people who didn't do well. So I started noticing patterns. I'm gonna be real with you, Eddie.
Me
I
too.
feel like rich people get to do whatever the fuck they want. And people who are not rich should probably play the game a little bit more than rich people do. So I, for a long time, acted like I had the clout in life to make very powerful decisions. And then I realized that that's not really it at all. I don't even have the money to fucking make sure that my albums can get mixed properly because the truth is, if I were, I don't have the time to like record everything. So now what I have to do is reconsider the whole strategy and look at it a little bit more like maybe I should try to get a fan base. I'm like not worry about like if I want to be a musician. Like
Yeah.
I got the interview thing and that actually is fucking insane that it's working. Like that's not even a thing that I expected to work the way that it's working. It was an accident. But like the music thing, I dropped an album in 2020 that made no sense for 2020. Is the project good? Yeah, I think anybody that fucks with me on like a real level, all like all eight of them will fucking like it, you know? Like, but if I'm being real, I dropped a track called Lose Weight. That shit had references to sex in it. It was repetitious. It was probably the most let my hair down experience I ever done had. I stopped worrying about if rappers would like it, which was a big thing. I cared so much about the respect of rappers until I started doing contests. And I realized that the rappers that are in these contests have view counts that are nothing like the guys doing autotune. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, do I really want to impress a bunch of people that are not gonna fuck with my shit? Because yo, if these people fucked with each other's shit, right, like their numbers would be through the roof. But
Oh
there's no
yeah.
like cohesiveness and a real marketing strategy there. So it's just a bunch of
What,
people that
what,
like, and yo, shout out Breaking Records. What they're doing is amazing. Shout out all the fucking bars of death. Shout out all the people doing it. It's an amazing way to market yourself if you have a funnel and if you understand what you're doing.
yeah.
But like inherently, you shouldn't be trying to win the contest. You should be using this as a marketing tool. I'm doing it for the gram, you know, like it's a thing to do some content that I have the rights to use. It's fucking blessed. So shout out all the people who allow me to come do that. But like I look at a lot of people and I'm like, oh, you guys didn't actually drop like any songs in this time period. Like a few of them did.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't. And I'm not trying to throw shade. This is about marketing advice. It's about like how to build a brand.
Yeah.
So
How stuff already for
you start
yeah.
talking to people and you realize everybody in their fucking history says make songs women want to hear if you want to make it in music.
Yeah.
And women statistically are not the biggest fans of battle rap and bars. Statistically. Like this is just stats.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize that a lot of these like young people with their melodic trap have such depth in their poetry. Because if you look at it like a rock song, it's beautiful poetry. If you go bars, 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 it's like, yo, I mean, you used a lot of syllables and pop cultural references. Cool. Like you know a lot of pop culture references, my guy. Real deep. That's how I feel when I listen to so much shit. Like there's
Yeah.
no lasting power. Everybody that made a Carol Baskin bar dated their shit and it's gonna be boring next year.
For sure. For sure.
And I'm like, yo, so I'm like looking at these kids as they're writing about emotions and feelings, and I'm like, yo, I have my heart smashed too, my guy. I
Right.
feel what you're talking about in your track. Yo,
Right.
I listen. People make fun of Lil.
You're yelling at the speaker. You're like, talk to him. Talk to him. You know?
Yo, everybody talks shit about Lil Yachty, and so one time I make this Facebook post, and somebody challenged me. I randomly picked a Lil Yachty song, and I had just reviewed Redman and Method Man's fucking The Blackout album. And I
Yeah.
swear Lil Yachty definitely likes Redman. You know how I know? Because if Redman said those bars, we'd call it great, but because Lil Yachty said it, it's fucking bad. And that's the facts of a situation if you actually do this with any objectivity at a lyrical level. Because to act like the 90s isn't full of a bunch of preposterous grandiosity is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. It's like you didn't actually listen to what they were saying. Yo, these people have diverse albums of emotional depth. It's like a complete evolution on things. And people act like, oh, they don't say anything. Xanax did. I'm like, nah, man, half these kids don't even talk about drugs. They don't even do drugs. They're like basically having sex with people and having heartbreak. Like, what the fuck else were we doing at 19? What the fuck are we supposed to be doing at 19? You want them to be jaded old people at 19? That's what you want? Them to be kids? That's the world you want to create? I don't
Right.
get that shit. It makes no sense to me. Fucking let people have fun. Life is kind of hard these days. Plus, yo, people don't even realize that in 1990, like 8 and shit, the American economy is kind of popping. So music is fucking hard as a response to a thriving and growing economy. That's the natural response of music to the economic life cycle. We're in fucking recession land. Music's fun and escapist. It's just not being in touch with the times. to think that being a tough bravado guy is like a fucking good look to anybody in a world where everybody's having a hard time and dealing with like real life issues and shit. You know what I mean?
That's big facts right there. Yeah, like yeah, it's definitely people are going through hard times, and like Joe has a new song, and it's very upbeat. It came out in the winter, but like it feels like a summer song. And I was like, man, I fucking need this right now. Like this shit is so depressing. Like man, like there's certain people like that like I haven't even seen in time, and I'm not one for uh I'd rather just talk to people like this or even like in person than messaging. And like some people how people keep in touch nowadays because everybody's just staying home. The whole messaging thing, like I don't want to do that shit. I'd rather just have a conversation with somebody. You know?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like though I'm in a place where I get a lot of conversations. Like you do three of these in one night. I do like three to four of them across the week. So I do get a lot of sustaining conversations. Like I can see how Action Man just popped up. He was talking to me on Wednesday. Fucking shout out Action Man. Um, but like messaging is okay, like here's the thing, man. At the end of the day, I don't actually want to talk to everyone like this. In
Yeah.
fact, I would argue, no offense to people, but like 95% of the people who contact me, I'm very okay with keeping that as some tech shit and like, let's just deal with what we got to deal with because the volume of people that want to talk is insanity. I'm sure you have like lots of people going, Eddie G, what do you think of? And you're like, I mean, I would love to check every one of your things. I'm super sorry, but there's only 168 hours in a week, with like there's limits on like a day, So like, I mean, I love conversations like this with certain people where I feel like we can share. And your platform is fantastic because you do collect a lot of people. You do give people the opportunity to share thoughts. So in a sense, it's like really in line with like shit I care about. But that does not mean I want to talk to everybody. It just means that there's a time and a place for stuff. But with the messaging, I don't know, man. It's just I feel like I can make more money with text, but fuck a voice message. I don't want your like yo. There's like two or three people who I've said you can send me voice messages to, and there's one guy I talked to who literally has dyslexia. Therefore, I'm like, okay, fine. You have trouble literally writing. I accept that you might have an easier time with voice message. But why are people sending me like 11 minutes of voice messages? Like, you couldn't get me to listen to your 3 minute song, but I gotta listen to 11 minutes of your fucking nothing. No, like, so like, like there's just problems with a lot of this transitionary phase, I think. Like, I get it, but sometimes you gotta listen to 11 minutes of somebody talking because it's in your advantage to do so.
Yeah, I definitely pick and choose. Some people will send me a message and say, "What's up?" Like somebody I don't know will just say like, "What's up?" I won't even reply to that. I'm like, that's like they're hollering out a girl, and I'm leaving them on red. You know?
I've made the joke that sometimes links feel like the new dick pic in my life.
Yo, I feel that so much. I get I get the hint sometimes when like rappers will send me just the link for their song, and I feel like they want to be on the show or something like that, but they don't say anything else with it. They just send a link to the song. So I'm
I
like,
don't think that's what it is, my guy. So here's what's up. And this is no disrespect to people on my like peoples, but like I got like peoples. And I have said to these peoples, yo, I checked your new song. And then they use some fucking app or bot or some bullshit that like hits everybody with a chain message. And you're getting hit with chain messages, my guy. You're just like a number in a friends list.
oh yeah, for sure.
I don't know, man. It drives me
Yeah.
nuts. Like, at least if you've never talked to me before, identify who you are and let me know if like what yo. Because then there's also that Facebook fucking scam where they go, "Hey, how are you? Have you heard about the fucking something or another you're on a list for?" I'm like, yo, you got me excited that you actually cared about my day or something.
Definitely. Just people in general. Like you gotta pick and choose. Who you really talk to. Like sometimes I get messages and I'm just like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, for me, like, I always feel like if I don't know somebody, like when I message somebody to try and get them on the show or something like that, like I'm always right to the point. I'm always right to the
Mm.
point. I'm like, I'm like, people watching, if you want to be on the show, if you want to message me, get right to the point. Be like, hey, I like your show. I like that. You know, like for me, like I feel like anybody messaging somebody else, like nowadays, like you have to get right to the point.
Yo, it's like I don't think people also understand how many messages like you get in a day once you become like media. And I started with album reviews too. Like if I reviewed everybody's album that I like asked me to do it or every song, I would do album reviews my whole life and I would never do anything else and I would never finish the list. We created a Patreon. A few of them did it. Most of them are just like, yo, can you do this? I'm like, okay, I guess that's what it is. When it comes to interviews, though, I feel like everybody that's been direct and clear with me has more or less gotten booked. It's been like, oh, you want to get in? You know, I do interviews. You looked at what the fuck I am and identified that shit.
Yeah,
You passed the test. You're in. Can I also figure like you're not hitting me up to do an interview if you didn't know, like whatever. A couple people do though. A couple people have hit me up and then like 2 or 3 days before are like, yo, how long's your interview for? And I'm like, that's a weird question to ask me. It is so
oh,
easy for you to figure out anything about what I do by looking at anything I do.
yeah.
Uh,
I always hate that question. How long is the interview gonna go? It's like, I don't know. Like, how long can you carry a conversation on for? Like, I feel like I guess we're in like that. Like, I don't know. Like, some of these are like 20 minutes. Some of these are like an hour. You know, like
I was
it all
like,
depends. And like, and another question I hate. Actually, two things I hate. And I don't know how often you got this. Is like, people ask you to send the questions beforehand. And like and people like ask to be oh, how much money can you send me? I'm like I've told people, I'm like, I will not send the questions beforehand, and I will not send money. Like I'm like, you know.
hmm. So, the questions beforehand thing, I got it a couple of times. I tried to find a way to do it, and every single time I tried to plan an interview with somebody beforehand, they didn't actually live up to what we agreed upon beforehand, and it fucked me up, and it made it for a worse interview. And it happened twice that I can think of. So I just stopped that shit. But then people started. So most of the people that like have been interviewed, I've been blessed. I got like so this is all like fucking what I started in October for real. So I started doing interviews in 2019 just because like I was in Toronto. My dude was in Toronto. We had done an interview or two in the past. We got blessed and got to interview Kirino on some like random shit. So I guess the idea had stayed in your head. You get to interview a fucking indie celebrity ish in his own little circles, and people fucking care. You go, wait, this is interesting. You can talk to famous people like this shit, right? So I end up, doing the next one with Buyer Clarity because we were in Toronto. So I figured, fuck it, may as well be like, we're in Toronto. What else could I fucking do, right? Like I'm not a
Right.
blogger. And then we come back home. I start trying to beg people for fucking ever. I'm begging, I'm begging. A few people come through. I do like five for the whole like second half of 2019. 2020 starts. We get another couple in. Barely struggling. Willie Scandals comes in the summer. A couple people come. Like we're begging. Like nobody fucking wants to come do this shit. Then September rolls around. I'm all fucking. I will answer your questions. So I can follow them. I'm
Yeah.
also an interviewer, dude, so I follow shit. um, but like then September, Montreal has that like it's illegal for people to come to your house shit. So I do a play. I'm like, fuck it, it's illegal for you to come here. I can't snitch on camera, so like gotta do it online. So I tested with my buddy, my guy in house, and we do like a 3 hour thing. And I don't know what it was, but like a bunch of people showed up, and I'm like, okay, there are people on this Twitch watching this shit. Like, you gotta be on Twitch, my guy. Like, you could be having donations this whole fucking time. Like, that's the difference between IGTV and fucking whatever. Restream, blah, 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 figure it out. But trust, they all come to Twitch, and then it's a huge community. Anyway, so I started doing it on Twitch because it's live and restreaming. Well, I don't even restream. I'm just doing it on Twitch, and then we start doing a couple of them, and then I don't know. I just get lucky, and this dude Tech Luciano does my show. But Tech Luciano's from like the old guard of Montreal. People respect his name. So we do this like 4 hour interview because like to me, I'm like everyone starts competing as time goes on to get the longest one. Like I don't know how that started happening. I think I baited it with a Facebook post, but they start going, yo, like the record's 2 hours. You gotta get 2 hours 10. And they start doing this type of shit. So now that we're online and nobody has to leave or anything, you fucking like it's like 4 hours or some stupid shit like that. No, I love this because yo, you ask Colin can talk for hours. Like literally, if you had no one else here tonight, I could fill your whole fucking night. I'm not even gonna lie. Um, and then like basically, a lot of people noticed that in Montreal. But like really what I'm trying to do is run through like the story of people. That's all it really is. If I had you there, it'd be like, all right, Eddie G, when you're a kid, and I'd drop my token question, we run through your life and its tangents. And I indulge all the tangents, but then we go back to your life story when that gets boring and we keep going through it. So it's like you, it's as long as it takes, but the shortest shit is 2 hours in my world with the
Okay.
fucking Twitch world now because I stretch the shit out of it because it's Twitch, but I'm able to, so it works. Like people stick around. Like the stats are kind of cool. Like honestly, dude, I never felt cool about anything in my fucking life until I started doing Twitch. And people fucking like, yo, relax yourself, Bonnie. I felt cool about other shit. I forgot my girlfriend's watching. Um, Never felt really that like cool about shit. Like to the level of like metric proof that I'm not fucking crazy. Like it's not in my head anymore. People actually give a shit. This is metrically provable, and that's fucking fire. Not to say people didn't care about like reviews, but like who the fuck really wants to watch a 2 hour album review? The people that do it, and it's not a lot of them. I can promise you, there are people. I know that, but not a lot of people do that. But I don't know how to do short shit, so it's never gonna happen. Anyway, so I do this Tech Luciano dude, and he effectively fucking just knows people, so they see that and they're like, "Yo, I kind of want a piece of that." And then it just starts on a very small scale, like people start wanting in, and the next thing you know, I'm like booked out like 2 3 months, and I'm like, because you gotta keep in mind, this is like October till like now is basically my run of this shit, we'll say.
Yeah.
And then within 3 months, I'm booked out 3 months. And I'm going, what the fuck just happened? Yo, I got so fucking busy, dude. And then all of a sudden, I meet this dude in New York named Flacco Bayo. Shout out to Liddy Bros. I review his album. I bait him into an interview. That one goes 4 hours, but he's nuts. He's like, you're the guy I've been looking for. So next thing you know, I'm affiliated with End of the Week and the New York branch. And I'm interviewing these like fucking New York cats. Like literally this dude from like fucking Daddy's House. That's Diddy's fucking studio in the
Yeah.
90s. And then Iron Solomon's on the channel. And then all of a sudden, I'll be back. This fucking guy who was in the movie ATL. And then and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like we haven't like hit next level, but we're like in that C tier. Like Poison Pen is a name people have heard of.
Oh, for
So
sure.
it's like holy shit, what the fuck is, and then meanwhile we're jumping on all these Montreal people because for me it's all about Montreal, right? Like let's be real, we could talk language politics for a second. Montreal's Anglo scene is not in the healthiest state. Why? Lots of reasons, but it needs attention, and not a lot of people are. There are people. Shut up 504 online mix. Shut out everyone else that's doing their thing for real to say that there aren't, but there weren't, in my opinion, enough people trying to put shine on English Montreal hip hop. There's a lot of efforts on the French, but like not a lot of efforts on the English. And I decided finally in my 30s to stop being a negative, nearly asshole hater and flip my script a little bit and shine on Montreal. So you'll see I wear Montreal's finest hat in my fucking interviews, which you can cop
Yeah.
at Montreal's finest 1985 on Insta. But like, it's because that way when we had these moments, Montreal's name gets there. You can't watch that and not think about Montreal and shit, you know? Basically, it's like, yo, it became a mission. It's not just like I'm doing interviews no more. I'm now more like a historian. Is now I'm gonna kind of brand myself. That's my future
Yeah.
branding. I'm looking at like Canada grant money and how to get that shit because we could make like documentary series is creating like the history of the English side of the Montreal hip hop scene. So these stories have become like oral history reports of these people. Is it factual? That's not my place to say, but it's an oral history, right? So
Yeah.
thankfully, I get to kind of not have to worry as much about if they're being truthful as if it's just collecting their stories. So then it's like, oh, you want part two? cool, tell me more. And so now people are kind of incentivized to come back because, like, yo, like 514 Outlet Mix is going to give you that proper interview where you promo in your shit. I'm there to, like, get your shit down, get your ideas down. And then we flip it into let's talk about marketing, my guy. Because if I'm gonna fucking do this, I want something out of it, and that's where it's fun. And people tell me all their marketing strategies. Yo, because like that's what people really want to know. Who's not a little fucking hustler on the side, you know? So all these people should be able to like fucking spit some marketing game, back up some of that shit they say. Let's talk about how you got those thousands of views you got. Let's talk about your real fan bases a little bit. And I'm not mean though. Trust, I'm always going to be kind, courteous, and make you look good,
For sure.
regardless to what I'm thinking in the moment.
For sure, like that's a big thing too. Like I'm always trying to make like you're saying you know, like you're being a historian, like and getting people's story out, and that's awesome. Like, I think like every interviewer kind of has like their angle. Like for me, like my angle is kind of like I want people to like that are watching this to like feel like, oh, I know how it feels like to hang around with this person. Like
Mm,
like their vibe, like what is it like to be like just chilling with this person? I want people like that's the kind of like thing I want people to walk away after my interview. Like when the people that are watching this, be like, yo, I could chill with that motherfucker, you know? Like he's cool
mm.
shit. That's that's definitely the vibe I always try and set.
Yeah, I could feel you reacting to me. It's fucking you're good at what you do. Don't get me wrong. I fucks with it. I'm like this most of the time. Like most of the time, because I just think all the time. So it's like, whatever. Let's talk about some real shit and let's learn some shit. That's why
Yeah.
it's fun. That's why I'm like grateful for the era we live in, right? Because like yo, a lot of people like the real life version of this, but I have the contrast of doing this in real life to doing this on the internet, and I like efficiency a lot, right? Like I can't do 4 hour interviews if you come to my crib, but I can do a 4 hour interview if we're all at home over Zoom, right? And it makes me go, what's the best product to create a little bit more? And I think like even when life goes back to real life, if I can't do 4 hour interviews in person, then we're still doing this on Zoom, people. That's like how I look at that situation because A, it's a global audience. I'm not bound by the limitations of like fucking things, but what I would love to do is take this shit on tour, go everywhere, do exactly like the show. Maybe have somebody do a 1-2 rhyme or whatever, and then stream
Yeah.
that motherfucker to Twitch. So you got the live audience that's giving you a little bit of
Yeah.
bread at the event, and then you got the Twitch audience that still does all the Twitch shit.
I was actually trying to set that up like years ago, like not like a tour, but like a show. I was trying to set it up where like I was going to interview um I was going to set up like 5 or 6 different artists and have them all come to a venue. I'd do like maybe like a 20-minute interview in front of a crowd, and then have them come up and perform 1 2 songs. Then I have the next artist come on. And I was going to do that in front of a crowd, but I didn't get it going. But I think after this whole COVID shit, like I want to get that going. That's been like a goal of mine, like of something to do. You know,
Mm.
like
That's not dope. I think that you picked the right industry, and a lot of rappers, unfortunately, should probably look. Here's some real shit, my guy. Find me a rapper over the age of 30 that's real successful. That's just a rapper. What I mean is that
yeah.
doesn't have another thing going on. Yo, you go look at all these guys. They're clothing designer dudes. They're
Mhm.
label peoples. They're promoters. They're invested in multiple businesses, and they're rappers. So their lives are interesting, and they bang out content that's reflective of actual things going on in life. Even a Griselda,
Right.
like if you really listen, they're trendy, they're relevant because you can tell they're in fucking real business meetings, learning some real shit. Like, and so a lot of people are just rappers in the sphere of like making music, and their life is
I
screwed.
put out this like the people that are just rappers like that, and they put out the rappity rap. Like I remember like making music before and just making music, and then like kind of like I was writing one day and I was like, yo, this is like very rappity rap. Like I'm like, because like that's all I was doing was just like that's all I was doing was like going to shows, then going to work, and then going to shows, and then going to work. Like I wasn't doing anything else in life, so like I didn't have any. any life experiences of like anything different, so I just rap about rapping. And
Mm.
like people that are like very good now, you're right, they have so many different other things going on, so they have different things in their life, and they're able to like kind of like go a different direction.
And like, it's not to say that there aren't ways to like do it where you're just rapping, but like it feels a lot more like gambling and a lot less like strategy. Like,
Yeah,
check it. If your
no, no,
whole plan is to release a lot of songs and gain momentum and buzz, that's the plan of millions of people,
yeah,
right? Like, I live in Montreal, Quebec, right?
yeah,
That's like 3 million people in the area around my city. There are probably 2 to 3 thousand English rappers in my city across the ages of 13 to like 50. I Let's have some context. If
mm,
we're all doing the same thing, that means every lane of sound you can think of is probably being done here. Every
yeah,
content, every idea. Like if I look for it and I really look for it, I can find it, you know?
mm,
So now you got to ask yourself, if the whole world has everything to listen to and Eminem and Tech Nine, why are they going to go pick us if all we're trying to do is what Eminem and Tech Nine are doing?
right.
Didn't Eminem and Tech Nine release albums within the last year?
Mm,
I swear, I hear people and I'm like, yo, are you like really trying to compete for Eminem and all of these, like, fucking how many people are in that lane that are like famous, famous? Like, you're going to compete with Logic. Like, you're going to compete, what's your angle? Like, what's
Like
your thing?
for me, I look at like everything like that, like even like people doing interviews. There's like tons of people doing interviews, but like and there's tons of people making music. But you have to like the one thing you do have, everybody has, is being themselves.
Mm, that's
Like
fair.
nobody can take that away from you. If you put yourself into the music and you want to push it, you want to keep on pushing it, or you put yourself into the interviews, you want to keep on pushing them. Like you yourself, like your own personality, like that's the part. Like always
But
you're
I
saying
have
like
to
people like
confess this though, right? Like, let's be real. I started this and I was trash. And I had to listen to a lot of feedback on how to be better on camera with this personality. So it's not really just my personality anymore. I take this like a serious fucking business. I'm an on character performer. This
okay,
isn't me in real life, my guy. Like, it's similar, but I'm a character because this is what I put on the internet. And you have this vibe going on too, my guy. I see what you're doing. Don't get me wrong. You fucking good at this. I appreciate how you play it. I see the way you score. All of that, my guy. You know exactly what you're doing here. But it's
yeah,
not you off camera. Off camera, we'd be different. And that's the facts of the situation because we're good at what we do. We're professionals. You're very aware of things. We're both doing the dance of trying to control the conversations. And I'm like, I gotta remember this isn't my platform. I got, all this other shit's going on in my head because I know what's happening here. Um, and even like the smiling and shit. Like, I don't fucking smile as much in real life. But you know what happens if I smile like that? People fuck with me more. So it's like, okay, I
right,
gotta put on like the show. I gotta make sure that people are entertained when I'm on camera. If I'm rapping, if I'm interviewing, and it's part of like that. And then off camera, there's like the real life me. And like people see it, right? Because we're on Twitch, so I do a raid, but the call's still happening. So it's like this like fucking switch. And I'm like, off camera, okay, we can talk now. And it's like, I think with artistry, you can be yourself, sure, but you have to be a fantasy version of yourself if you want to succeed in music. You have to be a fantasy version of
yeah,
yourself if you want to succeed in everything. So you're right about the authenticity of who you are and having to stay within the realms of your brand. Like, you should define your brand values. I'm pretty sure in your head you have brand values, even if you haven't really like formally said that shit. Like, you know what you're reflecting.
yeah,
You came up
yeah,
with your tone, all that shit, but that means it's become bigger than just yourself, right? And that's another thing is how many people succeed as eyes? Like, Eddie GTV feels like an enterprise. It literally could just be you, but it feels like a we because you threw that GTV shit in there. That's why, like, I
yeah,
don't fuck with pushing my Holden Stephan Roy brand anymore. It's behind that suit. Behind that suit is three people right now. There's my girlfriend, she's holding shit down. My dude Chris is on the editing. There's a we. People fuck with we's. So like there's so many facts to how to build a successful brand to get humans. Okay, yo, here's the big problem with MCs. This is the real problem. MCs think that MCs should be fans of MCs, so they compete for each other's attention to be the best of their own peers. None of
Yeah,
those people are paying clients. You're basically competing for competitors' attention. If you
yeah,
go to any other field of life, people look for fans, as in paying clients. Like, let's be real. A fan
yeah,
is somebody that pays you for your art, not
okay,
just a regular person, my guy. That's just a guy supporting you. A fan, in my eyes, is somebody willing to pay you with time or money. Time is a fair way to pay you. I'll give you that. So, like, if all you're doing with your brand is attracting your peers and doing absolutely nothing to attract a fan, then, like, what are you even doing? Oh, you're going to get like 20, 30 people in your Facebook that are not related to the music industry, maybe that care. But, like, to have a sustainable career in media, you need like thousands of paying clients, not just people who fuck with you. That's thousands of people. Like, people think 22K views is good, and I'm like, what? Dude, that's like peanuts in the grand scheme of things. These aren't real numbers. Like, we chase these illusionary things, and it's like none of y'all have really seen what success looks like in metric form before is the problem. So, like,
yeah,
100,000 views, not sustainable. That's the beginning. Like, people don't understand how deep
yeah.
this shit goes. So if you're not willing to sack 7 years, it's like, okay, you're not really in this. Like, not really in this. Like, how long have you been doing NEGTV?
Shit. First video was the end of 2012.
And that's why you fired today. That's why so many people have your merch,
Yeah.
right? You started.
Like for the merge, like people told me for years, I was so busy with everything else, I wasn't really thinking about it. But like people told me for years, oh, if you ever get like merch, like go buy some. And like like people say shit, and I was like, okay, sure. I'm like, yeah, you're actually gonna buy it, right? Like like and when I started getting the merge, I was like, it started just going so quick, and I was like, oh shit, like the one thing people lie about tons of different things, right? I'm
Nah,
like the
you
one
played
thing
a regime, my
they
guy.
weren't they weren't lying about that, they weren't lying about buying the merch.
But
I
here's
was
the
like,
thing, but you played a scarcity game too. Like, people have asked me for merch now, a couple, not a lot. Like, I'm saying
yeah,
two. I don't like to hyperbolize that kind of shit,
yeah,
but two isn't enough. I want like 100 people to be asking me for merch, and then maybe like I'm gonna probably do merch sooner because, like, let's be fucking real. I don't want to cut my nose off to spite my face, but in my heart and soul, it's like, yeah, the demand's not there. I don't see a demand for merch. I don't want to waste time building a merch store to sell 5 items. Like, that doesn't sound satisfying. But
right,
you built up a brand for like 8 years. Right? You just put in heart, soul, consistency. This had to have cost you so much money, so much fucking time, so much dedication. And that is why Eddie G is a fucking gangster in this game today. Because you put in like nearly a decade of effort, right?
yeah,
So a lot of these people are running this group in like year one, year two, year three, or maybe they did 3 years, took off 20, and now they're back in year one or two, and the landscape is completely changed. But like, you look around, and I'm like, like, what's different about you? Really different about you? Like, I do album reviews like that, 500 or so. Oh, what's up, mommy? I see you in there. Gotta shout out your mom some shit. You do like 500 album reviews, and you're like, do you know that my least favorite genre now is independent mainstream hip hop? This is a bunch of indie guys who sound the same, thus creating a mainstream sound that just sound the same. Fast, multi-syllabic, technical rap. Like, dude, like, who can't spit rap god? Like, if you can't, like, who can't do that? Everybody fucking learn that shit. And if you can't, you're like, well, I can't. Well, there's just that many people who can do it. YouTube has thousands of videos of people doing that track. What's fucking impressive in this shit anymore? That you can take 1,000, like, it just sounds the same. And they all criticize the same shit. People
well,
that are more successful than them. And it's
well,
like, y'all just kind of sound like
I want to get back to like you're saying like what is like the thing that makes them different. Like you were saying like all of us put like an extra thing on like everything we do on camera. for me, yeah, obviously, like everybody does it to a degree. For me, it's not that much different though. There'll be times in life where I'm like, I'm out and I'm joking around with people, and I'll say some shit, and I'm like, oh man, I wish I was recording that. I wish that was part of my podcast. Like, I have tons of those moments in my life where I'm like, oh shit, that over there could have been content. You know, it's just like it's just getting like you're saying the years of it, like the years of like just I wasn't always just comfortable on camera, like when I was rapping, I started doing music videos. Like I was like, oh, I gotta like actually like rap the words in front of the camera, like and like pretend like I'm like there's somebody like like and the first thing like even talking on camera at first, like at first, yeah, I wasn't like exactly me, like because I was nervous about being on camera. But now like it's just like as soon as the camera turns on me, I'm like hey, I'm doing the same thing, I'm me. I'm kind of like I think that's the beauty of like doing shit for so long that it's just like it just becomes second nature.
But you even said it yourself, though. You created a vibe that was not the same as other interviewers. Because let's be real, sometimes interviewers can ask the same shit, but I got the feeling you don't send your questions because you tailor your shit to people. Like, you figure out who you're talking to and make that experience for them. That creates a whole vibe, right? You can't replicate that shit. And yo, I love a lot of these like rapper people, right? Like I don't want to come off like I'm against it. It's just I want people to understand the bigger scope of things and what branding is really about. It's more than just numbers and bars. It's about identity. It's what you're describing. It's about the
Yeah,
thought that goes into it. Because I kind of went off the rails there. I love that. But like basically, I wish people would care more about what the people that don't create the art care about, and I do believe that you care about that because, like you said, your whole description of what your vibe is based on giving an audience. Remember, they're the people that you cared about more than me. An impression of a given experience. Like honestly, my comfort was like secondary to your audience's comfort, which is really fucking cool. Right? That's kind of like how an entertainer crafts some shit,
right.
and that's like really respectful. Like that's how I think people need to treat the music industry in general.
Yeah, like I just think just be comfortable, like be comfortable and just and do the shit. And have fun. Like there is no way that you can do like I said I actually started rapping in the year 2000, but I've had fun doing things all this shit along the way. I wouldn't be doing this shit if I didn't have fun doing it. Like we only live once. We have to enjoy this shit. So no matter what, if I look at things down the road, if I didn't make the best marketing moves and I don't become like this huge thing, and I still have this regular job. I had fun doing this whole run. Like it doesn't matter. Success isn't like amount of money. It's the amount of happiness.
But just to like go with it, but your mindset is very powerful there, right?
Yeah.
So I guess the frustration stems from people that feel they are entitled to more success based off of
Right, right.
X, Y, Z.
You're not entitled to that shit. Like
Whereas what I'm trying to convey, possibly very poorly, I admit perhaps it's poor. I'm not used to being on this side of the fence. It's different.
yeah,
It is different. Um, is to like understand the scope of the actual game that we're all playing. Like I have a feeling you are aware of how many people are out there in the sphere and how much real things are going on. However, you still found your way to move forward with it. And as much as you might be worried about it, the amount of power I see your brand has, the amount of people that shout you out, like my guy, I'm a little bit sitting there going, I'm gonna be like NGT when I grow up. That's how it feels, honestly, looking at your shit.
that's awesome.
So I feel like you're gonna do all right with it, but it has a lot to do with the fact that you took it like a business. Like you clearly treat this like a business.
For sure.
Thumbnails is on point. Your fucking branding is on point. Everything is on point. It wasn't just like, yo, I want to go do some shit. So I mean, as much as you had fun with it, I feel like you also were super serious with it.
For
And I
sure.
want people to also know, like, look, I'm bad at having fun, okay? I'm not the funnest person in the world. Like, you probably, like, might look at me and go, he could be funny. I agree. People, it's true, it can happen. But, like, I just take it all super seriously. Not maybe making music, but, like, this is a promotional opportunity to do something different than I normally do, right? I don't normally get to be the guy that has the opinion so much as gracefully managing other people's opinions. And it's like I see a lot of things where I see a lot of people come prove and maybe do things differently. Like I see this fucking JK guy. He popped into the stream just now. He's the 17-year-old I was telling you about. This guy he fucks me up with talking to this guy and his marketing and all the smart choices and shit. And then I see a lot of people making bad choices, and it's like y'all need to talk to more 17-year-olds. Like for real, stop judging these kids and talk to them a little bit, and see how like there's so much potential for us to like optimize our processes, to not have to compromise who we are, to have a lot of fun with it, but to just do wiser things based off of what will actually attract fans, as opposed to what will attract peers.
No, for sure. Like, I feel like if we still pay attention, we can learn something new every day, and but we gotta be open to like where it can come from. Like you said, like some people don't want to listen to a 17-year-old. Like me, I'm like, if this 17-year-old has a good idea, or like this, like you know, this 7-year-old says something to me, it's like, what? Like it clicks. It's like, yo, I don't care how the age, like like the age of somebody, like like a little kid, like a 7-year-old can say something to me and be like, and it allows me to see it from a different angle. One thing that really changed my life is when I realized everybody sees everything from a different perspective, and like if you can really meet somebody and like see their perspective of how they see life, like you don't really have arguments with those people no more. Like
Mm.
because you can like either you can see, oh, I really don't like the way they see life, and kind of like just kind of like
Okay, I
have
see
them
what you mean.
like
Yeah, I agree with
like
that.
have them not around no more, or they're like, oh, they see life like this. That's pretty cool. I want to have that mentality too. You know. So like it just changes. It just changed my life. Where I really like when I realized because like I always like I got mad at sometimes when like certain things would happen, but like I was looking at it from like my morals and my perspective. You know.
Mm.
I was like, oh, not everybody has this.
That's a huge one for me with the whole privilege thing. Is my role. You got to be aware of that in the role of being a white media person in hip hop, especially with more album reviews. I would say because like all of the content is like talking about other people's content, right?
Yeah,
So you got to be like mad careful with that privilege
for
thing.
sure.
And with the education and understanding of like my past and morals and context, like we're able to have a bigger sense of empathy. So I really like what you said there. That's proper. It was good scribble. I saw scribble so what's up.
Like I never done the reviews. Uh, how how much different is that like than like doing like the interviews and like
It's like apples and
I
oranges.
feel it'll have to be like day and night.
So the only people that click on a review are fucking hardcore fans of like so like who the fuck's clicking on a review but fans? So it's actually really not fun anymore for me to do reviews like it used to be. At first, I thought I could give my opinion, but it's not really what it is. You have to just like shit, honestly, because I wake up to comments that are criticizing opinions with like just every couple of days. Somebody's got something to say about something I said. Like I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about half the time. Like honestly, I don't even remember what the fuck I said. The interviews, it's all their opinions for the most part, right? Like you get to bounce off anything I said to be being my opinion, so you get to bounce off all that energy. You just get to look like the fucking hero the whole time as an interviewer. Like it's actually just amazing. Like, people fuck with you, and it's
Yeah,
like you just help every time. You're giving gifts to people. Like album reviews, like yo, if you don't like that shit, oh my fucking! I made a big mistake and I shot all over the part B of the Eminem album. I didn't do my due diligence. I didn't fucking try, and I got destroyed. Like, I'm not the kind of guy that really wants to deal with that negative energy. So I'll do album reviews for the patrons and the loyal ones and shit. I'll put agreements and stuff. But, like, interviews are fun. I could sit there for 5 hours and talk to people sometimes, and it's just fun. And I like that. Like you said, the fun is really important. I don't think the whole review process, all A to Z, is cool. It's fun. I would do
Um, how satisfying is it when like you're doing an interview with somebody and like they'll start off with like you ask them a question and they'll be like yeah, and then like but then you have to turn that interview around and they really end up opening up. Like have you had much of those?
Yeah, I broke somebody out of character. As in, they started in character and they were like, they broke by the end of it. I have a charm for this shit. I watched a lot of the Drink Champs and shit, so I do this shit where I'll take you on a story and then I'll send you on so many tangents that you effectively get loosey goosey with me and you're gonna tell me shit. You're gonna tell me stuff you never plan on telling me. And like, it's just like I'm good at this. Like, it's more like I expect that to happen every single time I do it. And I guess people like it. Like, now, anyone that's watched it is kind of waiting for it to happen to them. Like, they want the experience. People who don't know what the fuck they're getting into, they don't understand how good I am at getting what the fuck I want out of you. I will re-ask the same question 6 times in different words until you, and I will feed you a fucking answer if I have to. And if I really can't get what I want, fine. But we're gonna spend 10 minutes there, and then I'll move on. Like, people need to know that what I'm doing is deep dive shit. And if you're gonna say nah, I mean, and cut it off in 8 words, I'm gonna paraphrase it in 20 seconds and see if I'm right. It's all about that, and then inevitably people like catch on to what the fuck's actually happening here. And if I have to, I'll say, pretend we're filling out your Wikipedia page, my guy. And I'll just start coming up with new shits to say to try to make them elaborate. I've had a few that I could not get to like elaborate because some of these street guys are bad at elaboration. They say so much profound shit in 12 words, and then I have to unpack that to people, which is where my album review skills come in because I can break down a bar in a couple of seconds sometimes. So I'm able to like
Yeah.
do like kind of like combine the skill set. But like, I don't know. I'm just doing all of this honestly, so I know how to market brands. Talent, whatever. It doesn't matter if you can't market this shit. So how do you
Yeah,
find out about marketing? Talk to 300 people about marketing. I promise you'll be a better marketer when you're done.
for sure, for sure. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna check out Twitch.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that off camera, and I can give you a real big selling point because I know you got your time limit. We're running up at the end. I think is this still an hour on the lives? Have they extended that shit?
I know that we can go over.
Oh,
Uh,
that's sick.
yeah, but I got my next interview coming up
No,
soon
I
too.
know. I was watching the time. I'm like, yeah, there's got to be like a pause here. But am I echoing? That's fucking weird. I don't know.
Okay.
That's why I don't fuck with IGT. Honestly, I tried it twice. I had sound issues with it, and I'm like, nah, this might not be my favorite platform for it. And that's why I ended up on Twitch, where I could run through like Zoom and shit, OBS it. It's fucking quick and dirty and easy, dirty, easy, whatever. And same shit. But yeah,
I'm gonna have to definitely check it out, and I might be moving over soon. But definitely and definitely definitely we'll talk offline. I want to come on your show.
yeah, for sure. Definitely would love to have you. It'll be like 4 hours though, so you're gonna have to make sure to book that shit in proper.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm down. I'm down. I definitely like me. Like I've had interviews a couple times on the other side, and I love it. You know, I love it. I'm very like I've told stories like because like I don't want to really make it about me a lot on here. So like I'll hold back some stories, but like when people ask the stories, like when I'm on the other side, I'm like, yo, I got stories. So
Mm.
so definitely. So but yeah, we'll wrap this one up, and when and I'll definitely talk about
Yeah,
uh,
man.
that shit. And definitely, we definitely had a great conversation here.
Yeah,
I know
thanks for having me, my guy.
you're
Thanks
like,
for
yo,
being my first.
Aww.
Yeah, I
All
appreciate it though. This is fun. I enjoyed this.
right, everybody in here, make sure you follow both of us. And
Yeah.
yeah. All right.